Welcome back to my car cave. In front of me, we have the 1998 Le Mans winning Porsche GT1 98 from Spark. This is a large 1/12 scale. Came in a box, literally just a cardboard box. There's no decorative box that goes with this, but nicely it does come with the acrylic cover as well as a nice wooden base. The cover's currently got plastic cellophane on it. I'll take that off later. But anyways, let's go ahead and take the cover off and we'll take a closer look at the car. Okay, so now we got the cover off. We can take a closer look at it. This is super heavy, so it's a little unwieldy, and I apologize if I don't know how long I can hold this model up and show it to you guys. So we'll do the best I can. Anyway, so again, large 1/12 scale resin model here from Spark. You can see how heavy it is. Limited edition of 300. This happens to be number 86. These are extremely expensive. My model is actually produced in like October of 23, so it tells you it's actually been out for a decent amount of time. You know, so to have a lower count number means people are probably not purchasing these that often. It's expensive. I'm not gonna lie. It's frankly more expensive than I think it deserves. So that might tell you how I kind of feel about it. But that said, this is one of my favorite Porsches. Porsche had been back at Le Mans for a couple of years. And in this particular year, they happened to take victory over the Toyotas, the Mercedes, Nissans, and the BMWs from that period. This was probably one of my favorite Le Mans not race per se as much as just the cars that were in it. It had the most amount of cars that I really was just fascinated. The CLK Mercedes were amazing. The new Toyota GT1 was fantastic, super fast. Obviously, probably should have won the race, but with mechanical failures and whatnot, Porsche was kind of gifted a 1-2. It's not to say that Porsche didn't deserve it. You got to finish the race, as they say. So, but that said, this is one of my all-time favorite Porsches. I love these longer, long-tail type swoopy cars that kind of, while it doesn't look like the famous Moby Dick car, which is probably my all-time favorite endurance car, it has that kind of feel, that low and long and swoopy aerodynamic design element to it. So this car was, I think, a 3.2 liter twin turbo flat six engine. Sequential gearbox that had been upgraded. It's all carbon fiber monocoque. These cars at that time were supposed to be silhouettes of the road going cars, which in 96 and 97 were far more apparent. This started to veer off path and look more like a prototype car than an actual street car. So that's a little bit about the race history. Again, Porsche finished 1-2. This is the race-winning Le Mans car. I love this car. I have it in 1/18th, and we'll obviously talk a little bit about that and go through this model in detail, but that's just a bit of the race history. Okay, so in front of me I have the 1/18th scale version of the same Le Mans winning GT1 98. That said, you can see the 1/12 is super heavy and unwieldy to kind of flip around and show you guys. So I feel like it'd be easier for me to hold the 1/18th and kind of describe the differences between them. Up front, you get carbon fiber decaling on both models as well as on the rear wings. Does a nice job, typical from Spark. You get some photo etch parts in the grille as well as this tow hook here. That's on both cars. The first real difference I notice is in the headlamp covers. Here they're just a plastic plain cover. A lot more etching detail on the headlamps and kind of the blinker area as well as around the headlights that are more true to the actual car. You also get more carbon fiber decals on the inside of the headlamp housing as well as on these. I'm going to guess these are high beams or something like that. Can't remember what they were used for. So you get more carbon fiber decaling in those. Moving further back, again around the window screen, you also get a little more carbon fiber decal and riveting, mimicking the actual fasteners for the windscreen. On both cases, you get a photo etched photo etched windscreen or windshield wiper. Then moving back here, the air vents or the openings above the front wheels, you wouldn't expect it on 1/18th, but on the 1/12 scale, they're actually open. There's a full cut groove in there. Here, they're just grooves that are painted black to look like they're open. They're actually open on the 1/12 scale, which is a nice addition. Sticking in the wheel well area on the 1/12 scale, inside both wheel arches, front and back, there's kind of a yellow gold carbon weave pattern that was kind of that traditional carbon pattern that was used back in those days. Maybe it's Kevlar. Uh, Anyways, I famously think of it as the color on the back of the F40 sport seats. So that would be consistent with what was being used at that time. So you have it in both wheel arches. You do not have that on the 1/18th. Sticking with the wheels, these front wheels on 1/18 look like rubber bands. It's just too thin of a profile. I think they do a better job on the 1/12. So that's kind of an upgrade to the 1/12. That said, the brake calipers and the brake rotors look better, I feel like, on 1/18th, and they even feel like the rotors are photo etched as it kind of shines back there. So they are just a single plastic mold on the 1/12, which I feel is kind of, they could have definitely done it in two parts. It's a big enough piece. And you get a Brembo sticker on or decal on both calipers, front and back. On the 1/18th, you only have it on the front in the 1/12, and I have to imagine that it would have been on both. Next kind of difference is this, interesting. I feel like this is like a PPF or a paint protection film that was put on these cars. I think because you're throwing up so much rock and rubber that, not that they're trying to really protect the paint, they really don't care, but I think just protect the carbon fiber body from getting mangled. So you see it here, and I think on the real car, it actually was also up front here and possibly here as well. It's nowhere on the 1/12 scale, so I kind of feel like that's a miss on the 1/12 version that they bothered with on the 1/18th. So additionally, from a photo etch perspective, you get photo etched gas intakes on both sides of the car. It's plastic on the 1/12 scale, which is kind of a bummer. The aerial antenna, this is plastic here. It's a metal piece on the 1/18th, or sorry, the 1/12. So that's an improvement there. Then moving towards the back of the car. In both cases, on the rear diffuser, all the diffuser strakes here, these are all photo etched both on the 1/18th and the 1/12 scale. You do get these jack supports here on the 1/18th. I don't know how that would even work with the body work the way it is. So I don't know that they do not exist on the 1/12. I'm trying to find a photo to see if that was even a real thing. They obviously would have had pneumatic air jacks to lift the car during the race. So maybe this is just a secondary backup. I do not see that on the 1/12 scale. You do get these photo etched exhaust pipes that are huge, photo etched parts. Then on the back of the 1/12, you get this little maiden, I'm going to say Flotch or Flotch, I guess. It's a German word. I think it's for flat. Um, Anyways, that's on the tail light. That's actually on the car. And then here you have a Becker sticker. That is not on the 1/12 scale. So I'm not sure which one is more accurate, the 1/12 or the 1/18th in that regard. Then moving along to this side, really the biggest difference is this blue light. They did have a blue light in the window on the LeMans car. However, I think it's represented better on the 1/18th, although it does not look blue. Just the size of the piece to make this effect, I think is done better on the 1/12 scale, as it should be. And then these little lights that would have lit up the numbers. Yeah, it's kind of big and sticks out and protrudes a lot on the 1/18th. It's a little smaller or more proportionate on the 1/12 scale. Actually, it looks like they're possibly even smaller on the 1/12 scale. It looks like they should have taken the 1/18th, put it on the 1/12, and vice versa. So um, that's kind of an improvement. Also, you have this little decal here above the door handle that does not appear on the 1/12 scale. And the last thing I would mention is there's a metal part here. It's a photo etched part in silver on the 1/12 that's not on the It's in plastic, black plastic on the 118th. So interior wise, they look the same. They both have carbon fiber decals. There's tons of like switches and lettering on the dashboard. I'll try to get a photo because you can't see it here with the video and the glare and all that kind of stuff. But that said, that's not my favorite phrase when I do these 112th. It's always an opportunity to improve or an opportunity to disappoint. And that's the case here again. So disappoint, maybe not the right word, but I will say it's a little bit like the top marquees long-tail McLaren I had, where I felt, for this scale and particularly this price, this is an expensive model. There's no getting around that. And even if I got it on sale, it's still expensive for what it is in my mind. That said, it's one of my favorite Porsches. I had an opportunity to see it race at LeMans. I was fortunate enough to be there when it became the first flying car. Mercedes always gets thumbed as the flying car for their 99 incident, but the fact is that this thing flipped at Road Atlanta in a similar fashion the year prior. So, and I just was lucky to be in that vicinity when that occurred. So, a little anecdotal story. But anyways, this is one of my favorite designs of Porsche designs of the endurance cars. So it's probably something I'll keep anyways. It does come with an acrylic cover. The top marquees I didn't like for didn't have a cover, didn't have the correct paint. The headlamp covers were wrong. There's just too many inconsistencies that I couldn't overlook, despite the model being a nice model. This one, because it's a little more historic and more meaningful to me, I'll probably keep it anyways. But that said, that's my review of the 1/12 scale Le Mans winning Porsche 98 or GT1 98. If you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe. I'll have some more stuff coming soon.